Okay, so um, this is for the second part of the final, which is the Greybox level design. So this is supposed to just be like a very simplistic version of a layout of a game level. In our case, my pitch would be for like the theme of like a Pokemon gym. So not super enormous. So not like an amusement park, but maybe like one ride on an amusement park per se. Um, so you don't need to have reference, you don't need to make this exact gym. I'm just using this image so that way for my example there's something that I can point out and be like, "Oh, I'm representing this with this." So that way it's clear to you what I'm trying to make here. So, um I have empty scene, and then what's kind of new for us is that I do have a character for you to put in your scene. So the George file, you can go to file import. It's not like a Maya scene file. It goes into a Maya scene file. So you can just drag in the FBX file and it'll load them up. And George is the default size of a character in Unreal. So you can use him as your size reference. So that's like, I'm going to start making my walls here, right? So I'm going to start with just a cube, a very big cube. And as I learned earlier in my demo, Maya does not like working this big. You can see the like edges through things and stuff. But let me remove the top, as we know that there is obviously some kind of roof. And let me lift this up. And so as a reminder, when you look inside of an object and it's black and the outside is gray, that is an indicator of which side of the object is textured. So I'm in object mode. I'm gonna reverse this. Now you'll see the gray is on the inside, which basically just means that like the walls are facing inward, which is what we want. Okay, so George is kind of going through the floor. All right, good enough. Right, so if George is my scale reference, whoops, right, and let's think about it so I don't have to worry about reversing him. So, boom, right, that's my doorway size. So, whoops, if we look at my example, so this is my doorway, right? Boom. So I gotta widen this out now to actually match the size of the room that I want. So I'm gonna go to object mode and we'll scale this out. And it should be longer than it is wider. If this camera stuff annoys you, by the way, you can fix it by camera attributes, which is it's like a cogwheel on the camera, little icon here. And you can change the far clip plane to many nines. I don't think, yeah. Now it won't chop it off. Okay, cool. Okay, boom, boom, boom. So and bring the top part of the edge. So I grab the edge loop going around the top, so that's like how tall this building is compared to our dude. I don't know. We'll do like that. All right. I think that looks appropriately sized. So, like I said, George is our scale reference, so I'm going to put a cube sticking out of the wall over here so that we have a representation of this is where the door is going to be. And right, so if I move this back, Boom. Make this a little smaller. Just big enough for our dude to get in there. Okay, cool. And I can take the face on top of this. Move this down. Okay. Push this back. All right. So all this stuff back here, this doesn't really matter, but I'm going to be somewhat clean. So just boom. Okay. Yay. So that represents our door. So if I look at my design layout, basically there's two levels, right? There's the sand level, and then this like decking that goes over the sand, and then there's also these little rocks in here. So I'm gonna leave the bottom. This is like the sandy ground, so I need to make my boardwalk. So I'll just take another cube, scale it up, and scale it up. Make this a little skinnier because it's way too thick. Sure. Okay. Do like that. I'll lift these up a little bit. All right, this go like here. So again, I have a reference to look back at, so you might just be freewheeling it, but so that looks like that's about the right size for this decking here at the front door, and then now I need to put in this decking that goes out to where Brock would be. So I'm just gonna duplicate and do like this, and sure, that's fine. So basically it like goes and then jets out a little bit, and then it jets out more, and then it goes back to the same size on the next one. So all right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this and then edge loop tool options, because let's see, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 4 because that's the end. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 4 edge loops. 4. Flap. Because now I can grab these faces on this side and extrude. And then I can grab these two and extrude more. And then so this is like the same width as this one, basically, right? Boop. Okay. All right, boom. And just to make my life easier so I can see them, I'm going to give these some color. So, doesn't need to be accurate to what it's supposed to be, but this is wood. Okay. And then that should be the same color. And okay, cool. So then, like, if I wanted to visually represent, oh, this is where I'm going to put those statues, right? So the statue, you can do like that. And maybe all right. I'm not doing a good job on this. Okay. Not quite. All right. I feel like I gotta actually try now. Okay, let's try that again. Okay. Okay. So this is like the little leg. This can probably be a little bigger. All right. Let's duplicate these and group them. Center pivot. Scale X is -1. Do like this, I guess. All right, there's my statue. Sure, whatever. This represents my statue. Fine. Okay. So now, boom, 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 boom. There we go. Okay, right. Still too big. I'm gonna bring this down. Okay. Duplicate this, right? Because I got two statues. So there's my two little statues at the front, right? And then for the rocks, right? Oh, and I could also do this too, but I'm not going to include that. And then for the rocks, right, you just take the sphere. Whee! Right, and then like rocks all over the place. I said they're in like a little triangle here. Okay. Let's put that like so. I can do like that. So duplicate them, and then that rock would be like somewhere like there, and then there'd be one maybe over here. And then we'll duplicate them, group them, and scale X is -1, boom. And then, okay, then there's like 4 here. Okay. And then what else? There's 2 there. Okay. And then there's one like here. And back here. Okay. Duplicate group. Scale x minus 1. Okay, boom. And I got my little spheres that represent my rocks. And so that would be, oh, and then I did, well, that doesn't matter as much. So yeah, this would be an example of a little gray box level layout. And then the idea would be, so this sort of ties into where we're going next, is that for your concept, you're going to have an asset that you're going to try and make and texture for it in the second semester. So, so yeah, that's all I got. Oh, that doesn't stop recording though. Bye.